Hello students, welcome to part 10 of chapter of Morphology of Flowering Plants. Today we will discuss about inflorescence. So what is inflorescence? If flower it is born singly, we call it as a solitary flower. But if the flower is born in clusters, we call that cluster of flower as an inflorescence. There is a specific arrangement of the flowers on the special axis which is called as peduncle, and this special arrangement of the flowers on peduncle is called as inflorescence. I repeat, single flower we will call it as a solitary flower, but if the flowers are in a cluster we will call it as an inflorescence. So this is important, and the axis on which the inflorescence is arising we will call it as an peduncle. What is the significance of inflorescence? It makes the flowers attractive. It makes the flower conspicuous so that they are visible for the pollinating agents. Many flowers can be pollinated at a time. In inflorescence, flowers matures at different times, so it improves the chances of pollination. And every species, every family, it is having a different method of arrangement of flowers. So inflorescence help us in classification and identification of a flower. Now, what are the two types of inflorescence which we'll be studying? The basic two type of inflorescence are racemose inflorescence and cymose inflorescence. If you see in the picture in racemose inflorescence, older flowers are at the base and younger flowers are at the apex. So this arrangement of racemose inflorescence, it is called as acropetal arrangement. Whereas in cymose, you can see at the top, the old flower is there, whereas at the base, towards the base, the younger flower is there. This special arrangement is called as basipetal arrangement. I repeat, older flower at the base, younger at the apex, acropetal arrangement, as in racemose. In cymose, basipetal, base, they have the younger ones, and at the apex, they have the older one. Inflorescence axis or peduncle, in case of racemose, the apical or the terminal bud, it never terminates into a flower. Look at this terminal bud. It is never terminating into a flower, so it continues to grow. It shows indefinite growth. Whereas the apical bud in cymose terminates into a flower, so it shows a definite growth. Example of racemose is Caesalpinia, Gulmohar, cymose, jasmine, clerodendron. The growth of inflorescence axis, as I told, it is continuous in case of racemo, so it is called as indefinite, and it is limited because apical bud is terminating into flower in racemo, so it is definite. As the older flower are at the base, younger are at the apex, we call this arrangement as acropetal arrangement. Whereas in cymose, the young flowers are at the base and older flowers are at the apex. This arrangement is called as basipetal arrangement. The order of opening the flowers, if we compress this floral inflorescence, what do we see? We see that the younger flowers are in the center and the older flowers are at the periphery. So the pattern of blooming is from the periphery towards the center. This is called as centripetal blooming. Whereas in case of cymose, if you condense this, compress this inflorescence, the older flowers are in the center and the younger flowers are towards the periphery. So the order of opening or blooming of flowers is from the center to the periphery. This is called as centrifugal blooming. So I hope you understood the difference. Indefinite growth in racemose, definite growth in cymose. Acropetal arrangement of the flowers in racemose, older at the base, younger at the apex. Basipetal arrangement in cymose, older at the apex, younger at the base. Centripetal blooming of the flowers in racemose and centrifugal blooming of the flowers in cymose. That is, what is centripetal? Flowers towards the periphery are older and they open first, whereas the younger flowers are towards the center and they open later. What is centrifugal? Flowers towards the center, because when you are compressing this, we are seeing that the older flowers are in the center. So older flowers are in the center, they open first and then the flowers towards the periphery which are younger blooms. So it is centrifugal. This is a beautiful example of Gulmohar or Caesalpinia. You can see the acropetal arrangement and the indefinite growth. Whereas this is cymose inflorescence as seen in jasmine. So students, I hope you have followed inflorescence and types. In next video, we will discuss about structure of flower. Thank you.